Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I know some of you are still coming in. If you could do so quietly and make your way to your place. Now, thank you all very much for being here. I'm sure you all have one of these in your pockets. If you could also put that on to silent, but don't switch it off because we will be having a very interactive day today. My name's Jennifer Baker, and I will be introducing our fantastic and inspiring speakers here today. It's great to see so many of you turning out from all across Europe for this extremely important event. It's very few people you would ever meet whose lives have not been touched by cancer, whether personally, through a loved one, through colleagues, through friends. And today launches the European response with a public consultation, keeping a promise made by the EU to its citizens. I do hope you will help to spread the word. It's 2020, so of course we have a hashtag. So please share on social media using the hashtag EUCancerPlan. We're also being live streamed, so hello to everyone who's watching at home online. Do share as well via whatever social media you want to use. Here in the room, we have simultaneous interpretation and translation into English, French, German, Italian, and Spanish. You can find that on your headsets. And of course, amongst us today, we have leaders of Europe, policymakers, and survivors of cancer who will share with us their inspiring stories. But first, let us welcome our hosts here in the Parliament today, Véronique Trier-Lenoir and Lucas Forlas, MEPs and co-chairs of the MEPs Against Cancer Insist Group.
Bienvenue, Madame la Présidente, chère Madame von der Leyen, Madame la Commissaire européenne à la Santé, chère Stella Kyriakides, cher Lucas Forlas et tous les membres du Parlement, chers collègues et amis, Mesdames et Messieurs, c'est au nom d'une grande cause commune que nous sommes ici aujourd'hui. C'est au nom de plus d'1 million d'Européens qui meurent chaque année du cancer, leurs familles, leurs médecins réclament des efforts de recherche, nous les ferons. C'est au nom des femmes, des hommes et des enfants qui se battent aujourd'hui, en ce moment même, et attendent de l'Europe des réponses concertées, nous les leur devons. C'est au nom de ceux, de plus en plus nombreux, qui sont guéris, mais qui peinent à revenir à la vie normale, nous les aiderons. C'est au nom, enfin, des jeunes générations que nous devons protéger par des mesures de prévention, parce que 40% des cancers sont évitables. Avec le pacte vert européen, nous avons commencé à montrer la voie de la protection de l'humanité contre sa propre pollution. Nous devrons continuer. Mais ces progrès ne seront vraiment des progrès que s'ils profitent à tous les citoyens européens, sans discrimination et quelle que soit leur région d'origine. Merci, Madame la Présidente, Madame la Commissaire, d'avoir choisi le Parlement pour lancer cette initiative. Nous étions présentes dans cet hémicycle la semaine dernière et nous avons chanté pour ne pas pleurer sur l'Europe qui se déchire. Nous sommes de nouveau présentes aujourd'hui et présents des eurodéputés de toutes couleurs politiques et parties prenantes de tous horizons, prêts à nous engager à vos côtés au sein d'une grande Europe de la santé et qui, selon notre maxime, unit dans la diversité. United in diversity, et j'aurais voulu le dire en allemand, j'aurais voulu le dire en grec, mais je vais laisser mon collègue et ami Lucas Fourlas faire cela pour moi. Je vous remercie.
Dear Mr. President of the Commission, dear Commissioners, dear colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. I'm standing here today in front of you on the occasion of the European Beating Cancer Plan with respect and sense of responsibility to all those who are suffering and they are expecting from us to do something. Having experienced the problem myself, I would like to ensure everyone that I am determined to give this fight for all the people who are waiting from us to be their voice. Through my personal experience, I have tried hard to turn my pain into strength. I would like to stress that this beast called cancer is not unbeatable. I'm standing here in front of you today and I see people who are dedicated to this aim. People who can make miracles together, no matter of the political party they belong to. People who are more powerful when they act side by side. We are all here in the front line with the Health Commissioner Stella Kyriakidis as a leader, ready to win the battle against cancer. We demand equal access to innovative and high-quality treatments and medicines for all patients, children and adults. Moreover, it is very important to raise awareness about prevention and boost research. It is a moral obligation that no cancer patient fights alone, no family struggles alone. As a co-president of the group MEPs Against Cancer, I assure you that I will be by your side in this fight. Allow me please to conclude with a famous phrase: united we stand, divided we fall. Let this be our motto. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, and also for your hard work on the plan. I would now like to introduce, it is my honour to present Ursula von der Leyen, President of the European Commission.
Thank you very much for inviting me today dear Véronique Triet-Lenoir, dear Lucas Furlas, dear Vice President Skinas, dear Vice President McGuinness, dear Commissioner Stella Kyriakides, dear Commissioner Jutta Urpilainen, ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, there are many different reasons why each one of us politicians addresses a topic. Sometimes it's about values, sometimes it's about the interests of our constituents, but when we talk about cancer, there is also another motive. For me and for so many of you, this is personal. We all have our personal stories of struggle, of pain, of resilience. When I first heard the word cancer, I was a teenager. It was about my little sister. I was 13 years old when my little sister died of a reticulosarcoma. She was only 11 years old. And there was nothing my family nor the doctors could do to save her life. And there was very, very little we could do to relieve her from the awful pain. And I remember the shock when we found out. I remember the tears. I remember the questions that was on everyone's mind. Why her? Why us? Of course, we couldn't find an answer because there is no answer. My little sister's death has changed my life. And I guess it's also because of her death that I wanted to study medicine and that I became a medical doctor. And it is because of her and my mother and one of my brothers that I care so much about fighting cancer. This is personal. It is personal for me. And I guess it is even more personal for you, Stella, who went through this and survived. None of our stories are extraordinary. Everyone has a friend, a colleague, or a relative who's gone through this. Everyone has experienced the same sense of sadness and helplessness. But there is something we can do, individually and collectively, at member states level and through our European Union. In fact, there's much more we can do than we are currently doing. And neither myself, nor Stella, nor anyone else in this room are ready to accept the idea that we are not doing our utmost. Of course, we do not start from scratch. But the last European Action Plan against cancer dates back 30 years. The world has changed. Europe has changed. And I must say, the number of cases is sadly on the rise. Today, on World Cancer Day, we begin a common path that will lead to Europe's Beating Cancer Action Plan. And I would like to thank the members of Parliament, the group Against Cancer, for this opportunity, and all of you who are here today. I want to thank you, Manfred Weber, for the dedication with which you pursued that topic, because this will be a common path and we will need everyone's contribution. Today, we're launching a public consultation to shape our future action plan. We do not have all the answers, and together we might not understand everything. But together we can understand where to focus our attention and how to make a bigger impact. The first issue we need to discuss is prevention. because prevention is the best cure we currently have. Science tells us that 30 to 40% of all cancer cases are preventable, but yet only 3% of health budget is invested in prevention. The range of potential actions is incredibly wide, and this is why this public consultation will be essential. There are many answers to find. Could we consider setting targets for investment on prevention? What about the development of regional cancer care networks by quality-assured health facilities? We know that lifestyle has a huge influence. So how can we change our own lifestyle and make it healthier? How can we promote sport or improve labeling of healthy food? How can we teach our children the pleasure of fruits and vegetables? For instance, working with schools or through the new Farm to Fork strategy that is part of the European Green Deal. The second priority is to put the most attention on modern technologies to the service of healthcare. And the European budget can play an important role in that. With our new Horizon Europe program, there will be a mission on cancer. This new instrument has to be part of a broader strategy, and this is what we aim at with our action plan. Technology can be a lifesaver for thousands of people. We know, for example, that the use of artificial intelligence can significantly improve the precision of early detection, and I put the emphasis on early detection. It can be a powerful tool to reduce false positive and false negatives. And we have to better share our data. Within these data we have lies an incredible amount of missed opportunities, unknown improvements, potential correction of false hypotheses. Evidence, and evidence lies within these data, but we must use and we must share them. We're now setting up an open health data space, a cloud where scientists will be able not only to store their own data, but also to have access to other scientists' data. We need a health data infrastructure that facilitates the link between research and care. What kind of treatment has the best outcome? How about quality of life during treatment? Access to big data, the available data, and we have it, means much greater quality, more insights, and less biased results. We are ready to invest in this, but we want to hear more from the scientific community. The third topic is about early diagnosis. Ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, an early diagnosis or vaccination can save lives. Every year, 15,000 European women die because of cervical cancer. This does not have to be. Part of this, the pain and the suffering, could be prevented by early diagnosis. This tumor could be defeated. It is a matter of regular screening and access to regular screening. There is a vaccination against human papillomavirus. And I want to see every one of us to have access to the screenings and vaccinations. We can cover 100% of the population if we manage to facilitate this access. And I would like to discuss with you how we can reach that goal. I do believe that we all have the same right to health. It shouldn't matter where you're born, where you live, but we all know that unfortunately, this is still not the case inside the European Union. Today, as many as 25 member states have screening programs for breast cancer. That is good. But only 20 do the same for colorectal cancer. A woman with cervical cancer who lives in Romania is 16 times more likely to die than a woman who lives in Italy. This is not sustainable, and it is not right. We must discuss and work on equality within our union, how to improve the quality of our health systems and the outreach of our prevention schemes. This is about the life of so many people. Ladies and gentlemen, all of us who went through this know the grievance and the disruption that cancer brings into a person's life and a family. The sleepless nights, the long hours on a chair in the hospital, the dark thoughts that you just can't get out of your head. When it happened to my family, it was hard, but we had the economic means to face it in the best possible way. Other families don't have the same resources. The question is, how can we help? Today, we are all accustomed to the idea that parents should be able to spend time with their kids, the so-called parental leave. But what about a son who needs to take care of his mother with cancer? And then, of course, the issue of a life after cancer. For instance, to avoid discrimination in the workplace. No one understands this better than you, Stella. I'm so proud that someone like you will lead our fight. We don't want to listen to anyone who has a story to tell. The doctors and the patients, the researchers and the relatives, the nurses and the NGOs, those who made it and those who are still fighting. We know that some battles we simply cannot win, but together we can make a difference with prevention and with research, with equal access across Europe, standing at the side of those who need us. This, dear friends, is the vision of Europe's Beating Cancer Plan. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, President. You've obviously moved us all with your personal story and managing to combine the personal with the practical. And of course, you mentioned several times the driving force behind today's event. I would like to introduce now for our main speech, we have Stella Kyriakides, the European Commissioner for Health and Food Safety.
Dear President von der Leyen, Vice Presidents, Commissioners, Honourable First Vice President, members, distinguished guests, dear friends, I'm truly delighted to welcome you here today, knowing that we share the same level of commitment to seize this opportunity to join forces and voices to make a difference about the realities of cancer in Europe. We are determined that with your help, Europe's Beating Cancer Plan will translate into concrete benefits for Europe's citizens, patients, and health systems. This afternoon, we are launching the consultation process. As I have discussed with many of you, this plan aims to be as inclusive as possible. We need to take account the excellent work already being done and to build on progress already achieved. But we need to go further. We need to provide the opportunity and momentum for further change. Many of us here have ourselves been diagnosed with cancer. However, today is not just about sharing our personal experiences. Today is about turning the personal into the political. Today is about changing the realities for so many cancer patients in Europe and beyond. And I have no doubt that this collective personal experience can be a powerful force for change in partnership with all others present here. My cancer journey began in 1996, when I was diagnosed with breast cancer for the first time, though it always seems to have been part of my life history, as I had lost my mother to this disease many years earlier. Hearing that diagnosis throws you into a world of uncertainty, when everything you took for granted is no longer as it was. And with your turmoil comes the turmoil of those close to you. My experience with cancer opened my eyes to what we need to do, to how we need to work towards awareness and prevention, to break the silence and the stigma. It showed me that all patients do not have access to optimal treatment, to affordable medicines and to psychosocial support. It shone a light on the discrimination faced by survivors, on the lack of palliative care facilities, and the immense challenges faced for those working in rare and pediatric cancers. So yes, this plan is personal for me, as I know it's personal for many others here today, and as we know it is personal for the 3.5 million people diagnosed in the EU every year. We have heard many say that maybe we are aiming too high. Maybe we will disappoint, and I can understand this. We are aware of the challenges and the obstacles. But as you have heard, this is a priority for the President, and this is a priority for this Commission. And yes, this is an ambitious plan, but now is the time to be ambitious. Now is the time to have a plan that aims high and reaches far. This plan is about partnerships. Everyone has their own chapter in this story. Doctors, nurses, patients, researchers and fundraisers, children, parents and siblings, politicians, and so many more here today. Today is about taking this collective force and using it to drive change. Ladies and gentlemen, we have come a long way, but we still have huge inequalities in our member states. A recent Eurostat study showed that in one member state, 62% of women aged 50 to 69 can receive mammography within the last 2 years, while in another, the figure stands at 0.2%. This is a staggering difference, and it is unacceptable in the EU of 2020. This is exactly the type of problem that the Beating Cancer Plan aims to resolve. We want to see this plan tackle every single stage of this disease, from prevention to diagnosis, treatment, life as a survivor, palliative care, research and innovation. But first, we need to identify the gaps. We need to take stock of what is already being done and what we need to do. We are asking for your help to join the dots and piece together the different pieces of this puzzle. Today, we know that 4 out of every 10 cases of cancer are estimated to be preventable. We need to do more on prevention. We need to focus on tobacco control, exercise, and a healthier diet, highlighting the need to increase vaccination coverage. The new Farm to Fork strategy will help to ensure that citizens have access to affordable, healthy food. The cancer plan will explore measures to reduce our exposure to carcinogens in the workplace. And in line with our zero pollution ambition, the plan shall address air, water, and soil pollution. Dear friends, a broad set of challenges laid before me when I was diagnosed with breast cancer, just like for many other women and men across Europe. Thankfully, there was also a great deal of knowledge and options available to me. However, my third rendezvous with this disease involved a rare cancer, a soft tissue sarcoma. And suddenly, I was exposed to a very different reality, one where information and answers were much harder to come by. Today, there are still too many gaps in our understanding of rare diseases and pediatric cancers. The Beating Cancer Plan aims to fill in those blanks and provide answers where before there were none. Innovative technologies and big data can help to unlock new prevention, diagnostic and therapeutic avenues. And I am absolutely determined that we nurture this potential and maximize this impact. Cancer is persistent, it's true, but so are we, and so is science. The Commission is already looking at incentivizing innovation, and the new pharmaceutical strategy will facilitate affordable access to new therapies. The creation of a European health data space can promote data exchange and support new research. The Horizon Europe mission on cancer is another vital part of this discussion, and I'm delighted to welcome several members of the mission board here today. However, this innovation is pointless unless it is accessible to patients. The Beating Cancer Plan will help to drive innovation, but it must also help deliver it. Today, thanks to progress in all fields, cancer survival rates are increasing. But we do have to ensure that patients and survivors have a good quality of life. We know that survivors often struggle with health insurance, mortgages, or bank loans, things that are taken for granted. The result is more silence, more secrecy, and more marginalization. We have to be prepared to fight social inequalities, stigma, and discrimination against survivors wherever we find it. And with this goal in mind, the Beating Cancer Plan will look at best practices linked to social protection, psychological support, and professional reintegration. Ladies and gentlemen, the plan will build on what and is being achieved on every day. It will leave no stage of the cancer journey untouched. It will be based on extensive consultations with stakeholders, the general public, detailed discussions with member states, and we will launch the plan by the end of this year. The European Parliament is a crucial partner throughout this process. I want to thank the members of the MEPs Against Cancer Group for keeping cancer high on the political agenda. It was in fact in Cyprus that I had the DPP chairman Manfred Weber speak passionately about having cancer as a top priority. I look forward to working closely with the soon-to-be-established Special Committee on Cancer. We all need to be on board. Ladies and gentlemen, I began on a personal note, and I will end in the same way. I feel immense privilege to be standing here today. I am humbled, seeing this room so full of energy and ambition. But even more than that, I feel an overwhelming sense of responsibility at being entrusted with fellow commissioners with this strategy. Over the coming months, we will have the opportunity to rewrite the story of the game as far as cancer is concerned. Let's make sure we grab it with both our hands. We can strip away the fear and the uncertainty that comes with the cancer diagnosis and replace it with determination, with dignity, and with hope. And in doing so, we can change the lives and stories of so many citizens before they have even been written. And like the journey of each and every cancer patient, there will be twists and turns along the way. But together, we will see this through. We will make a difference because we strive for more. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Commissioner, for your inspiring speech and for making today's event such a success. Not just all the people here in the room, but many hundreds watching online. The hashtag has been shared several thousands of times, so please do keep spreading the message further and wider and use the hashtag EUCancerPlan. We now have testimonials from another cancer survivor and also a former professional footballer, a career that is out of the reach of most of us. So please do welcome Stilian Petrov.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Stilian Petrov, and I'm really proud that I could be standing here today, sharing my story and walk you through my experience as a cancer survivor. I'm like everybody else. I'm a husband, I'm a father, I'm a son, and a proud, proud cancer survivor. My wife said to me, "Have you prepared your speech?" And I said, "Well, it's very difficult to do a speech in 6 minutes after your eight years of experience as a cancer fighter. But I've put something together. Put something together in my head that I went through it, and I'll walk you through it today." Being a cancer survivor is very difficult. It's very difficult because you don't get prepared for it. You don't get prepared for the word cancer. I was diagnosed March 2012. I was diagnosed with cancer. The news was given to me straightforward. You have cancer. It's good. But what does cancer mean? What I have to do? Am I going to be safe? Would I be able to leave? What to expect? Nobody can give you that answer. I can give myself that answer. There were so many questions in my head. Why me? How this happened? Can I prevent it? Can I do something to prevent it? What's my next step? How big is my next step? What I have to do? There's no answers. You have to figure it yourself. Fighting cancer is a very lonely experience. We have different journeys. We make these small steps with the final results to survive. But how we find these steps, how we walk through these steps, I'll walk you through it. I had to fight for one thing, and that was my life. My life. And I couldn't really understand what the life means until I become a cancer survivor. I forgot the little and the precious thing in life that we forget so often, like waking up in the morning and kissing your wife and your kids, being able to take every day as a gift, making sure that you learn from every single opportunity, and mainly staying alive to see your kids grow, develop, progress, and still be part of their life. For me, it was very difficult to understand what does a cancer survivor mean? Why the cancer is such a complicated word, and we all try to figure out what we're fighting. For me, to stand up and inspire the others to have the strong faith to battle through it every single day. It was very difficult. I have to become really comfortable. I have to come to terms that I have to push not just myself, not my family, but others, because there's so many out there. And having the Beating Cancer plan is not just a plan. It's a togetherness to beat cancer, because cancer picks us one by one. Cancer don't choose. But standing together, we can defeat it. We can give other ones, every single individual case, a hope and a belief that we're here for you, and we're going to make sure you're going to come to the other end of it, you're going to beat it, and you'll be able to stand here and tell your story. My name is Stilian Petrov. I'm a proud and passionate cancer survivor. Thank you very much for having me, and thank you very much for letting me tell my story.
Thank you very much. And of course, we will be hearing from other survivors, their personal stories and experiences throughout the rest of the afternoon. But now we're going to turn to an interactive bit of our session. I promised everyone we would be using phones. So we're going to, there is a consultation being launched, so we're going to do a consultation here in the room. So I'd like you to everyone take out your mobile phone and go to slido.com. That's slido.com or sli.do. When you get there, I will allow everyone a couple of minutes or a couple of seconds. You will see an option to put in the hashtag, and that is, of course, EU Cancer Plan. And what you will see on your screen is a multiple choice question. And it's asking, we're going to take the temperature of the room, we're going to find out why you're here. So are you here today as a cancer patient survivor, friend or family of a cancer patient survivor, medical health care professional or a researcher or a policymaker? And a vote. And we will see up here on the screens a lot of policymakers in the room. But I suppose we shouldn't be too surprised by that. And I think people watching online as well, if they follow those instructions, can also vote. I see there's more than, 250 votes now. Any more, we'll let it run up to maybe about 300. Okay. I think we'll move on to our next question. Those votes are still coming in, and we can assess them again afterwards. Now, still continue to look at your app. You will have the chance there, just for an open question, using one word, what do you think is the most important for the success of the EU Cancer Plan? And you can type in whatever you want. You can say hope, or inspiration, or policy support, research, funding, collaboration, innovation, prevention. We're going to let you continue to do that. You can keep filling that in for another 10 minutes or so, and we will come back later on in our programme to see which words have come out as the largest on top. Next, we will have some inspiring women from my home country of Ireland, who have all going to tell their story through video and through song. So please do pay attention now. We will have the video for the choir, The Sea of Change.
The Sea of Change Choir has 55 members ranging from the age of 34 to 70. We all came together at the world's largest skinny dip last year, where we smashed the record. And half of our choir have been through cancer, and a lot of people have been supporting people with cancer within our choir. Our message is clear. We want people to stand tall with all the scars that we have.
We would like to thank Commissioner Eucitizens for this great initiative on World Cancer Day. Thank you very much to all of you over there in the European Commission.
Greetings from Sea of Change Choir on World Cancer Day.
Being on Ireland's Got Talent was the most amazing, amazing experience of my life. It brought so much love and understanding to what we were all about, particularly the song that we sang. And on my top list, it's one of the most amazing things of my life.
Hi, my name is Anna Marie. I'm a member of the Sea of Change Choir. I'm a breast cancer survivor. I was diagnosed 4.5 years ago. In my situation, I would never take away the fact that I had cancer. Friendship, family, all mean the world to me now, and the frivolous things are less important. Being in the competition and getting through to the finals, the fun and the excitement that we felt was absolutely magical.
Hi, my name is Leila Shimshak. I joined the Sea of Change Choir after I did the strip and dip for the Guinness World Record in 2018. I did it in remembrance of my aunt who passed away of lung cancer. My mum at that stage supported me doing the strip and dip, who was going through multiple myeloma. And this being in the Sea of Change Choir has meant the world to me. I lost my mother this year through multiple myeloma. It has been amazing for my mental health, going through the grieving process. I'd lost my mojo when I lost both of my parents this year, but having gained the support and love from all these women in Sea of Change Choir, who are now my sisters.
You'll find these wonderful women along with 2,500 other ladies on page 82 of the Guinness World Records 2020 edition. To date, we have raised nearly €1 million for charities.
I'm not a stranger to the dark. Hide away, they say. We don't want your broken parts. I've learned to be ashamed of all my scars. Run away, they say. No one will love you as you are, but won't let them break me down to dust. I know that there's a place for us, for we are glorious. When the strongest words run from me now, gonna stand firm, gonna run high. I am brave, I am ruthless, I am who I'm meant to be. This is me. Come back to where I belong. And I'm marching on to the beat I drum. I'm not scared to be seen. I'll make no apology. This is me.
Congratulations.
How do I follow that? Well, I'm not going to try. I'm just going to say let's have another round of applause. Stand up again, ladies. Well done. That is the choir of Sea of Change, coming all the way from Ireland just to be with us here today. Let's have a look now at our word cloud again and see whether thoughts have changed, whether we've had 600 votes, that's just now, so all these different words that people have come up with: commitment, money, partnership, access, love, cooks, I'm not sure what cooks are going to do, but engagement, implementation, data, everyone. Now let me call up our next testimonial. Please, Victor Gerbu, please join me. Victor, you're another proud cancer survivor. Which one of these words would you have chosen?
Well, I'll definitely go for prevention, but I think research is also very, very important.
Okay, tell us your story.
Thank you. Dear Mrs. President, dear Mrs. Commissioner, dear audience, it's an absolute honor to be speaking as a cancer survivor in front of you today. My story begins when, at only 6 months old, my mother noticed an abdominal mass and immediately took me to the hospital. Her fears were confirmed. My kidneys were not functioning properly, so I was diagnosed with Wilms tumor. My right kidney had been almost entirely affected, which is why the doctors decided to remove it completely. Thus, at 7 months old, I suffered the first surgery, and a series of oncology appointments followed. At 2 years old, doctors told my mother that unfortunately the tumor had affected my left kidney as well. I continued the treatment for years and years, and every time we heard the same story. It seemed that no matter what we did, nothing gave results. But we stuck to the plan, and my battle with cancer continued until 2010. Everything and everybody were prepared for the most important surgery in my life. As one of the doctors told my mother after it, "We have just removed a tumor the size of an orange of your son's one and only kidney. Thanks to their work, I live a perfectly normal life with approximately 70% of my left kidney." I'm here, I survived, but so many in my country just don't. Access to medicines and therapies in Eastern Europe is still not the same as in Western Europe. I would like to commend and appreciate the Commissioner for clearly specifying that access to therapy and treatment for all is going to be discussed in the European Beating Cancer Plan. We've seen firsthand in our European youth cancer community, Youth Cancer Europe, how breakthroughs in science, clinical trials, and new innovative therapies are saving lives. But we cannot keep silent about the fact that having access to any of this is still a postcode lottery. As we've addressed this in the European Parliament last November, the Cross-Border Healthcare Directive is not implemented across the EU as it should be, and whether you have access to even basic first-line therapies depends on where you are born. I'm 26 years old now, earned a bachelor's degree in law. I'm now studying national security and diplomacy. I want to start a family. I want to apply for mortgage. I don't want to be discriminated when I want to apply for insurance. There are so many topics that need to be addressed and that are of growing significance to my generation and my fellow survivors at Youth Cancer Europe. Fertility is on our agenda to address later this year in the European Parliament. And mental health will be our main topic for the 2021 Global Youth Cancer Summit. As the Commissioner pointed out, we need to work together so people can live well after cancer. We express our full support to the Commission and would like to make sure that our problems and our perspectives as young people affected by cancer are going to be taken into consideration. Let patients' organizations come work with you. Don't underrate them. Patients are also lawyers, scientists, media specialists, economists, politicians. We can see the lacks and the needs, but we are motivated to offer solutions and help solve those problems. We don't just sit back and wait for the officials to solve them for us and then criticize if they fail. We offer our knowledge and expertise and commit to solve problems together. We are confident that under the leadership of Mrs. Kyriakides, who herself is a cancer survivor and an experienced patient advocate, we can look forward to closer collaboration with the Commission, stronger dialogue, and more honest recognition for the strength of the patient community. For 17 years since birth, I was not allowed to do sports, to play football, to learn dancing, jumping with my friends. I'm really happy that I was allowed to do this, and this is important. And this is for beating the disease that stole my childhood. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Victor, for sharing your story with us and also for sort of strong words on what we think needs to be done next. And with that, we're going to go back once again to our Slido interactive tool, reminding you all again, of course, that it is a proper formal consultation on this plan. This is our informal consultation today. So we're going to have a look at another, well, there's the word cloud. The 605 people had selected all these different words. We're going to go on then also to another question, which is where should the EU prioritise its efforts on cancer? And once again, you've got a selection of options: prevention, screening and early diagnosis, treatment and quality of life, life after cancer, and research. And once again, if you haven't logged in, you can use the hashtag EUCancerPlan and make your thoughts known. Okay, it's really, really tight. Unfortunately, life after cancer, very low. Treatment and quality of life, 17%. Research, around about 24%. Screening and early diagnosis, 25, 26%. And prevention, 29, 30%. So really very difficult to say one thing more important than anything else. It's a combined approach, and that's definitely, I think, the message we're all hearing today, and that the Commissioner is nodding. She will take that information away with her. With that, I would like to invite our closing speakers. We have two Vice Presidents here today from the European Parliament and the European Commission. So let me call up first Mrs. Mairead McGuinness, the first Vice President of the European Parliament.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. I'm really tempted to say that, you know, we talk about united in diversity in Europe, and I think we are very much here united in diversity. Diversity of life's experience, of cancer, of surviving, things that should and do unite us. I have to say I love the Irish singers. Thank you so much. I had an experience this morning with them when I, casually said, why not sing a song? And they sang Sisters Are Doing It for Themselves. And I joined in. And I suppose what that reflects in this room and from that group is the energy and the real need to do more, to do it better, to look after people. Sometimes I chair this chamber and it's an angry place, aggressive, hate. All I feel today is the emotion of love and affection and sadness and empathy. And I think we can do an awful lot with that. And I think for me, the speeches made by presidents and vice presidents and people who will work with us and for us have been some of the most moving speeches I have ever heard in this chamber. And it is right that they are, because what we are talking about here what we are talking about is people, families, children, mothers, fathers, daughters, husbands, wives. I won't tell my story because you have heard so many, but I have friends at the moment who've had bad news. So I'm really here for them and to try and bear them on my shoulders so that they will know that there are people working in their interests. I'm horrified that in some of our member states there is less access to the best treatment than in others. That must change, and it can only change by push and demand. And I know that the President of the Commission, Commissioner Kyriakides, myself and others in this room and the Cancer Support Group will push on your behalf. It is unacceptable that a sickness in one member state, a cancer in one member state, can literally cause you to lose your life, while in another you survive, and that is an important lesson for today. Mental health was mentioned, as it should be, because there are terrible struggles internally for people who are ill. Struggles with daily life. As you said, the insurance issue, so fundamental. What touched me most, though, and we are all guilty of this, that in daily life we're struggling with things that actually don't matter so much. And it is only those in this room, and I know Commissioner Kyriakides, you are nodding in agreement, it is only those in this room who have been directly impacted that know what truly is important in life. And that is looking after each other, looking after ourselves, and valuing our lives. And that's why I think it's so appropriate that in this European Union, which has the capacity to do incredible things when we're united, we are here this afternoon promising that we will do incredible things. You know, I had a speech to read, but I feel no need to read a speech because I'm reading your faces, I'm reading your smiles, I'm reading the sadness too in many of your hearts perhaps and in your eyes. But I think coming here today, uniting our institutions across Europe, telling your stories, and may I say how passionately you spoke, and thank you for that. It is not an easy thing to do. But you will put pressure on everyone to deliver results. And for me, and I've been in the Parliament for some time, you know, uniting around something that is not national, that doesn't belong to anybody, but tragically can affect everybody, is a great start to this year. And I think we will get great results. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for coming to our European Parliament. Tell the world that we are for and about people. That's why we are here and that's why we are elected. I am so proud that you are in this chamber doing the best, uniting together, you know, agreeing to work together, our researchers, our policymakers. If I can be forgiven for being a bit national, I did mention the Irish ladies. If I didn't, they might be cross. Actually, they're a fantastic bunch. But I want to mention an event that I spoke at last year, the end of last year, which in fact has driven my, if you like, real enthusiasm to work with you so closely on this. There's an organisation called NECRET, which is the North East Cancer Research Trust. And I think we have somebody from that in the audience today, if I search my notes. I will. Kieran Briscoe, will you wave at me if you're there? Or indeed stand up? My eyesight fails me, but if you are here, I just want to say that I spoke at that event. And hi, Kieran. Thank you for being here. It's the second time I've mentioned them in this chamber, and I want to say that what you do is quite incredible, and I think you need to learn, other member states, what you do. It is all voluntary. It is researchers, professors, working with Kieran, with women who raise enormous funds for cancer research in the hospital that is closest to my home, Our Lady of Lourdes Hospital in Drogheda. Kieran, thank you for the work you do. Please pass on my thanks. Can you please spread what you do and how you do? Because even if we could harness that initiative across Europe, we would be making huge progress. So my words are ended. My speech is not read, but my emotions, I think, are well delivered. Good luck to everyone involved in this important campaign. And let us promise to come back, maybe in a set time, Commissioner, and assess what we have done. And let us all then sing together and in harmony when we can report success. It is down to us, and I know we can do it. Thank you so much for being with us. Have a great afternoon.
Thank you very much. Now, as I promised you, 2 vice presidents today, so please do welcome Margarita Schinas, the European Commission Vice President for Promoting Our European Way of Life.
Chère Véronique, Agapite Luca, dear Mairead, Stella Dubravka, dear members of the European and national parliaments, ministers, distinguished guests. I do have a text, and I will stick to it, because this has been a very emotional moment today, and I'm not sure I can deliver a speech unless I stick to my text. The European project is kept alive by ambitious visions and big projects. And such a vision and such a project we're starting today. But behind these big ideas that make Europe what it is today, there are also people. People with ambition to change things. People able to put resources together, activate networks, make a fresh start. And I wish to pay publicly my respects to President von der Leyen and Stella Kyriakidis, our dynamic Commission duo, because precisely they have just done that. Very often, Europe is perceived as something that mainly concerns building processes, buildings, bureaucracy, rules, people with suits like the one I'm wearing now. But Europe is much more than this. Europe is a system of values, of resources, of political will that makes us stronger together. Europe is something that multiplies, that brings added value. And this project, the one that brings us all in this room, is precisely a golden opportunity for Europe to show in practice what it means for the average person, for society, for citizens. And I will never forget in the European elections when there was a tendency to discuss laws and technicalities and issues, Manfred Weber had the courage to bring the fight against cancer at the heart of the political campaign, bringing it where it belongs, to citizens, to society, not to some sort of inspired Brussels Illuminati that know better. This is about the people. It's not about us. Nothing goes more to the heart of what it means to be European today than healthcare systems that are accessible, affordable, and offer all the same opportunities. Today, of course, it's the World Cancer Day, but it is also less than 100 days since the start of this new Commission, a period where we committed to take the most important actions. And this shows that beating cancer is one of our emblematic priorities at the start of our mandate. The President was here, and her presence here precisely testified that this is not a side issue, this is not a file, this is something that goes at the heart and at the top of our political projects. Today we're meeting in a big room, the biggest we could find in Brussels, and one not without symbolism. This room is the hemicycle of the institution that represents the people of Europe. And because cancer is not just a disease, cancer is a disease suffered by people. So when we talk about cancer, we often focus on numbers, statistics about new cases, mortality rates, economic costs, remedies. Sometimes we focus too much on the tumor and not enough on the person that comes with it. That needs to change. The European Commission, this new Commission, has placed people's health at the core of its action, And for the first time ever, public health is part of a broader mandate that comes under the promotion of the European way of life, as President von der Leyen wanted to be. And this is precisely because the European way is about values and dignity. And this is what any policy on cancer should build on. Allow me to share a wish with you, I'm sure you can subscribe to. I think of the day when the disease will not mean chances fading away, dropping out from projects or stigmatization. Instead, one day cancer will mean accessible treatment, recovery, and therefore life. The Europe's Beating Cancer Plan is a renewed effort to make this happen by opening a new era in prevention and care. And our plan, the one that we are kickstarting today, will be based on three main premises. The first one is that everybody matters. This means that the chances of surviving cancer would be the same regardless of which corner of Europe we are. The second is the need to maximize research and innovation, to find promising therapies and medicines that allow stopping the illness and hopefully cure. And finally, action on cancer should and will be holistic. We need to better tie health measures to other linked areas such as the environment, climate, digitalization, food and nutrition, pharmaceuticals, and this will be precisely the focus of our synergies within the Commission. Today is the start. I can reassure you we will do so with the utmost diligence. Rome was not built in a day. This is why we are launching a period that will last for 9 months until the plan takes its final shape. We all know what marvelous things nature can do in 9 months. Similarly, the plan will be the result of a participatory and broad consultation, where we will reach all those who have something to say. This will not be Brussels talking to Brussels, or Brussels talking to specialists, or specialists talking to specialists. This will be an open and democratic consultation. This shows the way that we want to do things, listening, talking, pulling ideas and efforts together. So please remember, as we're closing this emotional day, just today is the first step. I urge you to engage. Make your voices count. Share your insights and experience. Let's shape a people-centric and anthropocentric plan, one that brings hope, life, and opportunities to all. This is a battle we can win together. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you to both our closing speakers and indeed to all the speakers today who've told us such inspirational stories. Now, you may note that we appear to be really well ahead of schedule, not something that happens very often in Brussels events. I think it's probably because there's been so much consensus in the room, because we're all on the same page here, which can only be a good thing. I would like to say again, thank the interpreters for their work. Can we give them a round of applause now as well, please? And for all the team that has been involved in a lot of the hard work that went behind the scenes today. Now, we had one wonderful choir, but we are going to spoil you. There is another wonderful choir to sing us out this afternoon. I would like to introduce the European School of Brussels Secondary Choir, who have prepared 2 songs for us, and give them a big round of applause. Thank you very much. Thank you to the wonderful singers and to everyone here today. We may have finished a bit early, but I think what we lacked in lengthy speeches has been more than made up for by the emotion and commitment in the room. Since we've got this extra time, I'm sure you will all be able to discuss amongst yourselves. And remember, this is just the very beginning of the EU Cancer Plan, and I wish everyone involved a great deal of good luck. The Commissioner now will run off to a press point, but she will be back to discuss with everyone in the room right afterwards. Thank you again. Thank you very much.